this came out last month. I meant to get around to it back then. Unfortunately, I just never did. And then I was kind of like waiting for the new jerseys, but they just weren't coming, so I was like, alright, we'll do this now, and maybe when the jerseys drop, I'll do something then. But as you can see, I have the image up here. I'll also leave this image here the duration of this video. These are the original 6 teams, and they now have an identity. So from top left to bottom right in order, we have the Boston Fleet, the Minnesota Frost, Victoire de Montreal, the New York Sirens, the Ottawa Charge, and the Toronto Scepters. So, we will start with Boston. Now, this particular shade of green they have chosen, to me, this is not really a Boston color. I know that this probably shouldn't be the case, but given a long enough trajectory, given enough history, you tend to associate certain colors with certain cities when it comes to sports. The city of Seattle is blue and green. Pittsburgh is black and gold or yellow. Boston, I don't really think of this shade of green. So, for me, that's a little bit of a miss. But the logo, I really do like this logo. So the name is Boston Fleet. Now when I hear Boston Fleet, I think Boston Tea Party, Boston Harbor, some old wooden ships. For me, the name Boston Fleet, I'll give that an A. I like the name. The logo, I love the anchor design here. Obviously the anchor forming the letter B. I get like Whalers vibes from this. The Hartford Whalers, obviously theirs was a W and meant to represent the tail of a whale, not an anchor. But for me, I still get those vibes. And then within the B, you see those sort of wavy, looks like ocean waves. And I really like this logo as well. I'm gonna give the logo an A. So for me, Boston, the name Fleet is an A, and the logo is an A, but the colors are a bit of a miss for me. I might go C minus. Now, when the jerseys are finished, and we see the finished jersey with this logo and these colors on a player, then maybe my opinion will change. But I think it would look nicer in maybe a deep blue, or maybe a silver or something of that nature. all sorts of weird stuff. I don't like. They won the league and then they imploded in the off season. It was very weird what happened with Minnesota. Now the Minnesota Frost. And I'm gonna be upfront and say that of all of these teams, the Minnesota branding is my least favorite. Even though this is probably, I don't really have a connection to any of these teams, but probably Minnesota would be the team I would end up rooting for the most out of these options, just based on my opinions of these cities, teams, and other sports. But the branding for Minnesota, I really, really dislike. Now, you guys know me, the purple. I like that a lot. So for me, the colors is an A, especially because you have that connection to the Minnesota Vikings. But the logo, that F, it looks very esports to me, and that is something that the NHL luckily avoided with their expansion team logos. I feel that both the Vegas Golden Knights and the Seattle Kraken avoided that esports logo vibe that a lot of brand new upstart leagues and teams can suffer from. I felt that not the XFL, but was it the USFL? Whatever that new American Football League was from a few years back that had like the Battle Hawks and things like that. I felt that they suffered pretty badly from esports logo, whatever you want to call it. And this Minnesota Frost team does as well. The name, I don't hate it. I think that there could have been some better names out there. I remember seeing some. Let me quickly look. So, yeah, originally the rumored name was Superior. I quite like the name Superior. Some other names that were rumored were Frost, Blizzard, Freeze, Storm, Northern Lights, and Ice. Now, my personal idea was to just call them the Minnesota Lakes. Just the Lakes. But overall, the logo, I'm gonna give that a D, personally. And I think that it's especially egregious when you look at the Minnesota sports landscape, which is full of amazing sports logos. The Minnesota Wild, one of my favorite logos in all of sports, maybe my favorite logo in all of sports. The Minnesota Vikings, an amazing logo. The Minnesota Timberwolves, a very good logo. And the Twins, it's baseball, so they don't have amazing logos, but Minnesota United in the MLS, one of, if not the best logo in MLS. So Minnesota sports teams tend to do very, very good with their branding. So it makes the Frost stand out even worse as a sore thumb. Now, Boston, I said might be my favorite, but I flip-flop between Boston and Montreal. Montreal I really like as well. Victoire de Montreal. Of course, the French influence. Now, you have that red. I think it's ever so slightly different than the Canadiens red. But it's a very good color. It matches the team, matches the city. So they get an A for that. The logo, it is very regal, very majestic. The French influence is obviously there. It looks very upscale, classy. I really like the logo. You have the word mark up top, and then you have this red diamond with the M segments in that navy blue. It's just an amazing logo. I'm going to give the logo an A as well. And, yeah, overall, Victoire de Montreal. I can't think of anything better than that name-wise, so just like with Boston, Montreal also gets A's across the board. Although actually I guess with Boston I took some points away for the color, so technically on the scoreboard Montreal is ahead of them, I suppose. We're being technical. But I'm a very, very big fan of Montreal's branding. I think they did this the best of anybody. The New York Sirens. Now, name-wise, I love it because you have that double meaning. Sirens, obviously, because in New York you have the police sirens, ambulance, whatever. Actually, it's a triple meaning. And then you have the goal sirens going off when they score goals. But then also sirens as in like mermaids. And this is a women's hockey league. They're on frozen water. Kind of a triple meaning there, perhaps. So name-wise, I really like it. I'm gonna give it a B+. I think they're maybe could have done a little bit more with it here and there, but B+. Color-wise, I wish they would have gone with like the Knicks blue. This is just sort of this more tealy blue. It's not bad, but again, certain colors get associated with certain cities. In New York City, you have the Knicks, you have the Mets, and they use the blue and the orange, and the Sirens are using a blue and an orange, but they're using a different blue and a different orange, so it's kind of like just use the same colors. So color-wise, I'm going to give it a B. Actually, I'm going to move the name up to an A. Logo-wise, I don't like the logo. You have this sort of weird echo effect happening on the left and right side of the S. It's basically just a word mark logo. You have the NY block letters there, but like, except for the fact that it says Sirens, nothing about that logo really says Sirens, if that makes sense. So logo wise, I guess I'll give it a C. Name, I'll go A, and for the colors I'll B minus. But overall, I'm alright with the New York Sirens branding. Okay, now this is the one. I might get flack for this, the Ottawa Charge. This looks way too much like the Calgary Flames logo. Calgary Flames, another amazing sports logo, iconic sports logo. And this is just too much like it now with the Ottawa Charge. I know it's more like electricity, it's not fire. And you can see a little bit of that electric element in the logo, but I don't know, for my money, it's just too close to the Flames logo for my liking. It feels too what's the term? Derivative. It feels too derivative. But now Ottawa Charge as a name I don't dislike. I'll give a B plus for the name, because I know you have a military cavalry history tradition in Ottawa. So from that perspective, it makes sense as well. Plus, charge is in like electric charge, so you have some double meaning there. But for the logo, I'm gonna go C minus. It's just And then for the colors, you have the red and the yellow again, very reminiscent of Calgary, and I'll go just a C there as well. Now, we come to the Toronto Scepters, and this one is tricky because I hate the name overall. It feels very clunky. Toronto Scepters. I know they're going for a royalty vibe. They want that sort of elegant whatever, but overall scepters, I just really don't like it, especially because some of the other names I saw: Reign, Monarchs, Queens, Majesty, Sovereigns, of all those, Scepters feels wrong. I'm gonna give the name a D, but the logo I like. So it's just a word mark logo with the D and the S, but they're using the sort of stem of the D as the handle of a scepter. Then you have the little top bit with the spike over the D. And I think that looks really cool. I think the logo is an A, but I don't like the name. And I'm assuming the jersey is going to mainly be blue. I don't think there's going to be too much of the yellowy gold, maybe just a little bit of accents on that jersey. But color-wise, I think it's okay. I'll give it a B plus for that, but the logo's nice. The name, for me, not doing it for me. So anyways, guys, those are my opinions on the names, logos, and colors of the finally identified PWHL teams. The inaugural season was really exciting. I didn't watch a ton of it, but I watched the playoffs. I watched a little bit here and there. But it's good to see that the league was successful and is coming back for another season. It'll be interesting to see if the league will expand and where to. I imagine it's probably going to remain confined to that upper East Coast area for the time being for financial reasons, but we'll see. And like I said, once the new jerseys are unveiled, I will do a video reacting to those as well. So thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this almost every single day. Till next time, guys.